Good evening, YouTube. Are you ready to discuss the Sharks' most decisive win of the season? And it's interesting because their last game, that 7-6 back and forth loss to St. Louis, I kind of flushed that out of my memory, right? Why would you want to keep that in there? But if you put the 6 goals last game together with the 6 goals tonight, a dozen in the last 2. I'm just saying, I've seen times where goals don't come that frequently, so I'm reading into that. I like that. I like the fact that down 2-0 to a team like Colorado, the Sharks didn't pack it up and quit. It was like 25 minutes into the game, they were down 2-0. Taking some penalties, Colorado on the power play, Landeskog on the power play, making it 2-0. And who would have expected the San Jose Sharks, game 19 on their season, like I said, their biggest margin of victory, their most impressive performance. All right, the theme song is done. My 10-minute timer begins now, and let's chat about tonight's game. It was honestly not, like I said, unexpected, but the platform was there, down 2-0, that this was going to be a rough rest of the evening. There wasn't a lot going in the first period, and that's why one of the crazy storylines is the second period, which has been a nemesis of Team Teal this entire season. And not only did they outscore the Avs 2-1 there, but you could just feel the momentum turning, and Jones had a really good second period, and offensively they were able to create some chances. Wish we still got to see a little bit more from San Jose's power play, but look, not nitpicking on this video. Also like the fact that you had goal contributions and scoring contributions, right? The assists, the primaries, and the secondaries from a wide range of players tonight, pretty much half the team on the stat sheet. And you also get the diversity of scoring in a sense that Erik Karlsson got his first of the year, which we'll dive into that separately, and Radim Simek got his first goal of the season. So prior to this, only 4 Shark goals had come from the blue line. All 4 of those were courtesy of Brent Burns. Tonight, you finally get more defensemen jumping on the score sheet and in the way of scoring the goals, not assisting. Erik Karlsson, I think the right word, and what you hope for here, right? Let's hit the brakes for a second. What you hope for is that a game like this is the one you look back on 2 weeks down the road and say, where did things start going right? What was the start of all this? And it was a game and a night like tonight. And the same, I think, goes individually for a player like Erik Karlsson, where he was out for 4 games, week and a half, and was trying to get right. And, I'll be honest, last game didn't factor in so much, but looked better. Tonight did factor in and continued to look better, continued to make strides, for lack of a better term. But Bob Boughner said he thought it was a good reset for EK65. I understand where his season has been. I understand what the commentary has been. I understand what the criticism has been. I get it. What you hope for is that he got right. And you know what type of player he is track record-wise. Just, resemble some of that, and I think people are going to be pumped. Timo Meier had 3 assists tonight. Like I said, it was a wide range of contributions in what also turned out to be a tale of 2 games. Down 0-2, and then all of a sudden up 6-2 when it's all over. I'm reading the chat. Maverick, does he look at the chat? LOL. Honestly, most of the time I don't. And the reason why, Maverick, it's not to be cruel here. The reason why is that most of the time what I'm trying to do on these videos is be concise with my thoughts, get them all out, so people watching the replay can also appreciate the commentary. And then at the end, I'll try and rattle through and rip through a bunch of Q&A. So that being said, go ahead, put your comments in the chat. In a couple minutes, we're getting close to halfway to 10. So in the final couple minutes here, I'm definitely going to spend some time. But your 3 stars tonight, Timo Meier for obvious reasons. Erik Karlsson was number 2, and Martin Jones, 33 saves, was number 3. And I also want to point this out too. Evander Kane got the empty netter, and that made it 6-2. But Evander Kane deserving of, I'm not going to call it a free goal, but I'm saying that I'm glad it was him that got the empty netter. Been working hard lately, set up Kevin Labanc so beautifully to make it a 2-2 game. That's the one that tied it at the almost end of the second period. Great kind of no-look, drop pass back to Labanc, who was cutting towards the net. I really like the way Kane has been playing. And I feel like him and Logan's line, and with Kevin Labanc as part of that. Again, Kevin Labanc scored tonight. Back-to-back games with goals for Banker. Bob Boughner had been saying that he had seen Kevin play better, and the results weren't coming. So he wanted to be very clear that, there is such a thing as playing better and the results aren't coming yet. And, again, I think what you're looking at here is a San Jose team that has now played 19 games. And you have a baseline of who they are. You have kind of a track record of what they're good at, kind of the traps they fall into, and they didn't fall into those traps tonight. Like tonight would have been the example of, for example, when Kevin Labanc scores. Sorry, when was it Timo's goal? No, it was Rudolph Spalser's goal. They made it 3-2, 4:18 into the third period. But this has been a Sharks team lately that would score that go-ahead goal, make it 3-2, and next thing you know, allow one that ties it up again at 3-3, and you're thinking, oh, here we go again. I think it's an important story to tell that in tonight's game, when they took the lead, they never looked back. And that had definitely been an issue for the Sharks prior to this. So yeah, the main storylines, you get your 8th win, you get a regulation win, you have a good second period, like a turning point second period. When was the last time the Sharks scored 4 goals in a third period? Anybody remember that? Anybody remember? I don't know. Was it a playoff game a couple years ago? Was that a Las Vegas Golden Knights game 7? I'm just saying, last game when San Jose allowed 3 goals in the second and third period to St. Louis, and you're like, oh man, this thing is just, it's rough. They come back with this tonight. 4 goals in the third period, 2 in the second. And that's after being shut out in the first period and taking some penalties. Knizov went into the box. Ferraro was in the box. Alexander True had 2 minor penalties in the second period alone. But again, the Sharks were able to overcome that. So, most satisfying, most impressive, and let's be honest, most lopsided win of the season for the Sharks. I've said that NHL this season for San Jose stands for no huge leads. They've been beat decisively a couple times, but this is their first win tonight of that same variety. Should I peek into the chat? Should I peek into the chat section here? I see one up on the screen here. Did someone say 5 minutes? Yeah, I always put up the 10-minute timer here. And if I don't, I'll end up going a good half hour. And I don't at almost 11:30 at night, still looking for dinner, by the way, I don't always have the opportunity. So, and by the way, I'm still working on this new chat setup here. I'm really trying to be a little bit more efficient with that. Like, for example, if I put this one up here, I think you're going to like this one. Chase says, I'm not going to lie, I walked away after the second goal thinking it was a wrap. Came back after they scored one, and glad Chase did. What was that? Look at that. Look at the dog, by the way, eating In-N-Out burger on Chase's avatar. That's awesome. Yeah, and I'm not saying that a 2-0 Avs lead, like early second period, that should not be an insurmountable task. It should not. But the way that the Sharks season has gone, it's enough to make you think, oh man, like it's a hole. And this team can dig out of it, but sometimes they dig out and then they dig right back in. And I thought, again, I think another thing that gets buried here is Martin Jones making a couple key saves. In fact, earlier on, made one that transitioned into a San Jose goal on the other end, basically in the same sequence. I hope that all of this, like for individuals like Jones, for individuals like Carlson, and for the team in total, that we're seeing them trend in the right direction. We're seeing a turning point collectively. All right, Matthew, man, you got it right here. 2 or fewer. You're absolutely right. I don't know if it counts when it's 6-2, because like that, the storyline, yeah, and 2 or fewer for Jones. I should have mentioned that. There you go. But the storyline kind of gets buried of team defense when you score 6 and you score them unanswered all in a row. Sean saying, is this the kind of win that turns a season around? The blue line played 10 times better than usual, and Jones didn't suck. Well, your words, but yes, I mean, that's what you're hoping for. We're only a few points out of the race. Everyone needs to stop giving up. Now, it's still a difficult Western Division. There's the timer. I knew it was coming. It's still a difficult Western Division, but the swings can be so monumental. If you win a couple in a row and you do it in regulation and you do it against the teams that you're chasing, right, which for San Jose is more teams than not, you can make up ground so much quicker than in a traditional season. I think that's what we all have to remember here. When you're only playing all division games, you lose ground faster, but you can also make it up just as fast. Ooh, I think after this win, we just need to keep the heritage jerseys as our main jersey. I have to say, I am a huge fan of seeing, and I think it's a multitude of things. It's the old crest, the patch on the shoulder, but also just the teal. You notice the teal has changed, right? It's become a little bit more darker and richer over the years, which you would expect. But going back to that 90s teal, oof, it's crazy. Big Bird, I appreciate that. It was great to have Drew on again. I think he's with us again on Friday for Las Vegas. And that one's going to have some heat to it. Beat Las Vegas on Friday and Saturday. Well, you still have the Avs on Wednesday. Let's not get too far ahead of ourselves here. Martin Jones looked like 2016. And that's the thing. A lot of times, like I'm saying with Carlson, right? There is a baseline of what you know he's capable of. And that's why I think there's such a passion to want to see him do well, want to get back to that. And he had been shooting the puck a little bit more lately, even before he missed some games. Love the fact he let one go tonight, and you saw the end result. Calling it now, Chase. Someone's dropping the mitts next game. Yeah, I mean, Nazem Kadri would definitely be a suspect. I'd put him up there as a potential for that. Oh, John Leonard's goal. Thank you, T-Dog, for mentioning that. I didn't get to that, but him on the breakaway and those dangles, those filthy mitts at the end. That was a great finish for John Leonard. I love to see a young player like that on a breakaway with the confidence to finish it off. And you know what? Leonard is another player, too, that had good scoring looks recently. Not in immediate games, but a while back, it just wasn't getting them. Hit a post here and there, or was robbed. So that's a good comment right here. Look good, feel good, play good, get the result that you wanted. So, all right. Well, you know what? I appreciate everybody for stopping by. I don't want to make this go on too long, but this was... oh, nope. Try again, Brazil. That's what happens when it's a one-man show. And there's all these buttons in my game notes. Believe it or not, I know what all this does. I know what all that does over there, too. There's a lot going on here for a single person to put all this together. But I try. That's why when you watch us on TV, you can appreciate our production team because they do all this much better than I'm even close to all by myself. But good game for the Sharks. Now, what do they do with it next? How does Wednesday go? I know the Avs are a good team. Look, I'm not trying to say that everything's fixed. I'm not trying to say the season has dynamically changed. But this is an opportunity for a turning point. Let's see where it goes. Thanks for tuning in tonight, everybody. I will see you on Wednesday. Be safe.